Hey Fit Fam, it is Coach Rye from Team Flex. Today we're talking about Wasatch Warrior Figure Pro, and we're going to break down the placings, kind of a little bit about judging, how they landed, why they landed, and what it means for you as a figure competitor, you know, in any level of competing, whether it's your first comp, you're in the NPC trying to get a pro card, or you're already a pro. We talk about the differences and the things you need to know to do your best on stage. That's what we do on this channel. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and if you're not, give me a thumbs up, you guys. If you've been checking out my videos, you know, YouTube, I always say this, YouTube does not love bodybuilding. A lot of my videos are just pushed down. It's really hard to grow the channel, get subscribers and things, so I really appreciate it if you could give me that thumbs up, share this even with somebody if you know them. All right, let's dive in though. So first thing, we're gonna look at the comparison shot, just kind of like the way that it was seen on that day, and then we'll dive in a little bit more into the individuals lined up like I always do. So if this looks a little small right now, no worries, we're gonna get there. I just want to highlight some things. It's actually cool to see it from a perspective. It's a little bit further out, right? A little bit more like what the audience actually sees judges here. So obviously, you know, we got some judges' heads in the shot. You get the idea of what's going on at the table a little bit better. Okay, so let's talk about the order of our competitors in this shot and who won, who got second, who, and so on. So we got Megan here, she's our winner. Okay, we got Madison here, she's taking second. We got Bailey over here, and then we got Sandy right here in fourth. So there's our top four. They're going to be the ones we're primarily going to talk about in this video today, and just go over criteria a little bit more there. So right out the gate, figure division, we know, is largely about a really nice V taper. So we look here, we can see all these athletes really do have that across the board. They all have a tapered look, some more than others, and you know, it's interesting to see how this call out kind of turned out placing wise, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the individual shots here. I just want to show, you know, right out the gate, you can see the shape differences. Let's look from the back. Big shape differences in these ladies in the call out, especially from the front to the back. So let's look at it now. Let's look at our top three here. Again, we're looking at Megan, we're looking at Madison, and then we are looking at Bailey. Okay, these are our top three athletes. So right out the gate, you can see, there's a lot of differences, but a lot of similarities. And it's kind of interesting to see how it all balances out. So Megan has a really, really good figure shape right out the gate. You can see it, you know, this tapered look at the waist, super small, narrow waist, very good for enhancing the V taper, wide lats that spread, you know, the shoulder development up top, the arms that kind of match. Everything is really perfect here. And where she stands out a lot is this lower body. So in figure, it's all symmetry, up, down, left, right. You got to have that. Judges are looking for it. Like your quad has to be same size as the other quad. Your delt's got to be the same size, you know, so on and so forth. All of that comes down into placing. So on top of having a V taper, you got to also have the right level of conditioning. And so the conditioning in figure two is really about bringing, you know, the muscles through to a look where you can see it, but it's not super deep cuts. It's not striations. It's not graininess, right? And if you don't know what those things mean, look at the other women's divisions that are above kind of figure in the sense of muscularity and conditioning, which would be women's physique, and it would be women's bodybuilding. If you look up there, you'll see what I mean. We're talking about very, very lean competitors, chiseled to the grain of the muscle. You can see everything. Figure's not about that, but however, you can see, looking at her quads here, looking at Megan's quads, a lot of conditioning going on. You know, these softer lines that we're talking about, and very lean. This is much leaner than bikini and wellness, and that's what they want to see. They want to see this across the board, and it really helps her look overall, because she's got a very balanced full figure look with the muscle, but the conditioning is still on par, on target, right? And she's not showing, you know, ab muscles and things like that. It's not something you need in this division. A lot of times it can actually hurt you if you have too crazy of abs going on. It can be an indicator to judges how lean you are, right? And so we look at her. She's got the great figure shape, great figure, everything tying together, really good V taper. You know, ladies, you're competing figure, focus on the taper, the lats, the shoulders, get your waist as tight as you can, but don't neglect the legs. I think that's a clear message we're seeing at Wasatch Warrior here. Now let's look over here at Madison. So Madison has, you know, whoops, bumped the button there. Madison has, again, very similar shape to Megan. It's just kind of a little bit more downsized, a little bit less of a dramatic V taper, still got the delts, still got the lats, a little bit wider in the waist, I think, and a little less just overall upper body development. However, her quads and everything else here still on par with conditioning, very on par with size, very symmetrical physique for her. So even though compared to Megan, a little bit sized down, still showing all the same markers that Megan is as far as the criteria goes. The V taper, the fullness, the shape, the condition, all really, really close there. Now we look over here at Bailey, and she looks like she's a little bit bigger of an athlete, right? Overall, maybe taller than these ladies here. And she's got, you know, a little bit less pop to the shoulder, but still a good taper, more in the lats, a little bit not as depth to the lats, not as much width either, right? We'll see that when we get to the back. Waist still tapers in though, good. That's all there. And then her quads, you know, this is where you can see there's some big differences between her in third place slot than the top two. Where the top two have like this very conditioned quad look, she's got a little bit of the softer quad look, right? So it's not to say that it hurts her too bad. Keep in mind, these are our top three ladies at the pro level here at Wasatch Warrior. I mean, that is definitely, all these women are exemplifying very great physiques and very good examples of criteria. I just want to explain a little bit further for all you watching how the placings land the way they do, and that's why we're talking about it. So that could definitely be a factor for her in her placings, in my opinion. Now, when you look from the back, you know, I always say on every division I do this with, that bodybuilding is one from the back, but it especially is the more muscular divisions go, you know, women's divisions as they get more muscular, like figure, women's physique, women's bodybuilding. We go up that chain, and what happens is, you know, you get to see a little bit more how that actually applies when you see the muscularity of things, right? Like in figure, we're looking at the women's backs, we're looking at the lats, we're looking at the rear delts. You're not doing that in bikini and wellness. So here we go again. Judges are basically looking for the same things. They want to see the shoulder shape. They really want to see the lats shape. They want to see the depth and the width to the lats. So that's a really big factor. A lot of competitors think it's all about just getting that width. The V tapered is all about wider, wider, wider. No, you want to have depth, right? And so if you look at Megan's back, she's got a ton of depth. You can see it all the way through. Scaps, traps, rhomboids, rear delts, everything. Like, we're getting depth. This is thickness to the spinal erectors, thickness to the back. That's really what it means. Like, when the light hits, you can see all the muscles going on, but you're also not seeing them in the sense where she's super, super chiseled lean again, right? We can see all the muscles. All of it looks great. You can know what's going on there. You got that tapered look. So she's got the width and the depth, the best out of the athletes on stage, I think. And looking down here, you know, into the lower body here, you still got the shape of the glutes that you need. Mainly she's tying in the hamstrings and everything here. Really nice look for her. This back pose accentuates, you know, the strongest points of her physique, and it kind of pulls away from the weak ones, right? So like if she has a little bit weaker sense of glutes or weaker in the hamstrings, the way she has decided to pose this way is screaming only, look at my lats, look at my lats, look at my back, right? So again, the posing is a huge part of how you're going to present in figure and how you're going to place across the board. And we see that moving over here a little bit more. So Madison taking second here. A lot of the same framework, humongo rear delts, huge overall delts, good lats shape, good tie zone here into the waist. Everything is there. Glutes seem to be a bit more developed than, you know, Megan's at this shot. A little bit more conditioned even. We can kind of see some of those lines. Hamstrings are sort of a point that, you know, seem to be a little bit behind compared to Megan. And also if we just look at Madison's overall physique look, again, a little bit less overall development in the muscle, okay? So I don't think her lats are as wide as they could be. I also don't think she has as much depth to her back, right? In fact, if you look right here, you can really see this in like the spinal erectors and into the lats. You can see here, looking here, you got the markers, but nowhere near compared to what we're getting over here on Megan. So Megan just has a lot more upper body up top, a lot more dominant of a look. So even if judges were factoring in, okay, maybe glutes are not as developed on Megan, you know, what are we going to look at? They're getting so pulled by that back pose that it's just taking the cake for it, right? So again, very good physiques for Megan, Madison, and Bailey. Bailey over here, this is, I think, very easy to look at and see where the difference is. So she's got this killer upper body, shoulders up here, rear delt here, width in the lats. The lower body is where, you know, you can see it's a different look. It does not look the same compared up and down, left, right, like we're talking about. That's what figure is. She really needs to bring in her conditioning more so lower body, and that's going to kind of balance that out. That is a factor in figure. You want to have upper, lower, even conditioning, and athletes always forget this. They don't necessarily pay as much attention to that, but that is a huge factor, and I think that's where she's at. It could be a thing where she needs a little bit more muscle in the hamstrings, the glutes, but also definitely needs to bring in conditioning. So overall, very great example of figure division. I want to look real quick now. We didn't talk too much about Sandy because, you know, it's hard for me to fit all these people on one screen, and have you at home be able to still view this right. But I want to look at now Megan, first place winner here, compared to Sandy, who took fourth, because I think this is very interesting and it's worth noting. So this is the real direction figures going overall, because Sandy actually does have a lot of, you know, the size in the upper body. She's got a lot of conditioning. You can see the abs, you can see the quads, everything kind of feathering up a bit over here, you know, splitting, in other words, not specifically feathering because that would be too lean. But either way, you know, Sandy is placing behind the other two women we've been talking about in that kind of call out there. And I think it's factored to say that there's some reasons for that all figure competitors want to know. Okay, so Sandy, I think she's a bit too big in the shoulders compared to her arms, compared to her lats, right? So she's got huge cannonball delts, but it's not really feeding her effect and that taper look as much as it could, because her lats and everything else are a little bit behind, in my opinion, right? So she also brought in considerably, I would say maybe more conditioning than even Megan did, because again, we're seeing her abs here, and that could be training differences, that could be genetic differences, that could be a lot of things, but she looks very lean, at least at the same level of, you know, muscularity on point there, but you could be a little bit leaner, where again, a little bit too lean, like Megan hit her condition perfect, a little bit leaner could push to the point where it could be a fourth place slot, right? So some big differences there. Her legs are not as strong, all of that, of course, but I just think the shoulders, and then of course into, you know, the conditioning makes a big factor. Now, looking at the back pose. So again, this is Megan, our winner here. I think we got that by now, and this is Sandy taking fourth. Again, big difference here. You look at that, and that looks okay, much different, right? So indicator, for all you figure athletes, you know, continue. It's interesting how dominant, by the way, Sandy's shoulders look from the front versus the back, right? Like, we're not getting that same effect, that same fullness. And again, this could be a little bit opposing, but I think mainly it's this, her lats need a lot more depth, a lot more width to them, and she just needs to bring more muscle development up top. You can also see here where her arms are, you know, not on the same par as her shoulders in this sense, so that could really have helped her in the placings. Again, keep in mind, top 5, you guys, top 5 pro level, very good physiques either way, just talking about criteria overall. So her back is where she really does not stand, you know, as much ground here, and I think that can make a difference for all of you out there to understand, like, you just be really strong in one way. Front and back pose, you got to be on point in the figure division. Really make sure that you're being noted and you're being shown, and there's quite a bit of posing difference here between these two ladies, and I think it, you know, again, showcases really well for Megan and not as well for Sandy in that sense. So just wanted to highlight those comparisons for you out there watching. If you are a figure competitor and you're trying to learn how to do this stuff, you want to get started, or you're trying to get a pro card, check out my free coaching trial. All right, we have it, we offer it, it's always going, it's in the bio, it's in the description, just hit the link, it's free, you never put payment info, nothing. If you like my channel, I do this for free to help you. If you like, you know, the opportunity to get better on stage, I do the free trial to help you, and that's really what it is. It's another level, another layer for you to get real hands-on training with me or one of my coaches to be able to go to that next level and see what it's actually like. If you want to figure out how to get this V-taper, you want to figure out how to bring up a lagging body part, you want to figure that stuff out and see what it comes from, you know, with real expert coach opinion, the people that are doing this type of stuff every day, do the free trial. It's in the bio, it's free, you don't have to do anything else, there's no payment info, it doesn't automatically charge you at the end of anything, you never have to continue, never do anything else, just check it out. All right, you guys, strongly encourage it. And as always, I want to know your opinions of the placings. Do you like the direction of figure that, you know, Megan's kind of bringing here with her win? Do you like how Madison's looking? Do you think Bailey should have won? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Coach Rye is out.